Can we talk about your dressing room request?
Could we at any point discuss your changing area demand? This is what Steve implied Lita prepared a genuine decent supper. You realize Lita is a brilliant cook store about that, with Cedric the performer and Steve Harvey. Yet this is the very thing Feline Williams needed to say regarding it. That isn't in that dress. That is not no one's grandmother. This is just amusing while he's playing it yet. That isn't all he said about dresses conceivable, that there is nothing more amusing than a person in a dress, and in the event that that is the situation. It could likewise be expressed that there's nothing more clever than an individual of color. In the dress, the man detested the idea of dress such a lot of that. He was cautioning his own kin against it. Feline Williams was attempting to continuously say, Brandon, don't wear a dress, Feline Williams, maybe a miscreant each and every other day. Yet on days he's making an effort not to cause a ruckus. The comic is in his quest for demonstrating to the world what happens in the background in the business by uncovering stunning data. And today is one of those days. This time Williams is by all accounts pulling the drapes on the uncommon connection between Steve Harvey and Cedric the performer. I realize the vast majority naturally accept their relationship was shaped by long stretches of the pair cooperating and keeping in mind that that was the situation at first. It appears to be their security could have taken a turn that appears to have prompted Cedric being helpless before Harvey. And not in a tomfoolery way. Word on the road is that Cedric is so far gone for Harvey that the snap of the show host's finger could have his one-time associate rushing to him. Well, that is a kinship taken a dull turn, and Feline Williams is deciding to fill the world in regarding it. As of recently, apparently nobody was quite certain how profound this thing among Cedric and Harvey ran yet. From what Feline is charging the Cedric we're seeing could be a sad remnant of the man we used to realize need verification. Well, you got it. I'm remaining tonight at Supervisor L Manager Woman. See, I knew it. The young lady work at a sibling thinking about how far parody has come since the early and mid-90s. It's generally expected information that there are just a small bunch of veteran jokesters in the game at the present time. And Steve Harvey, Cedric, the performer, and Feline Williams are most certainly on that rundown anyway. It appears to be they're significantly more engaged with achieving that veteran situation than we naturally suspected. Basically, there was for Cedric. I realize a great many people may not like to put Williams on that rundown, but rather that very feeling makes it plausible that he knows what he's talking about. I mean, the man's been blowing whistles for some time, yet even close to that there's additionally the way that he in a real sense works in similar industry as them. So assuming there's any individual who understands what they may be getting doing when individuals aren't looking, it's certainly him. I don't believe that you should figure I could do without individuals. I like individuals fine. I simply could do without individuals that sell individuals. However, at that point, can't come clean with him, taking a gander at who Steve Harvey has rebranded himself into today. It's hard to perceive how he might have been essential for the gathering of men that drove satire into its flow age anyway. Looks can be misdirecting, yet that doesn't appear to be the main type of misleading Steve Harvey has been blamed for getting up to since he dropped the mic at satire clubs. This hypothesis, Feline Williams is by all accounts remaining on to make these cases about his kindred comic. Well, that and the way that Steve Harvey apparently had Cedric address on his show, while the host had purportedly closed down wearing a dress himself. That is correct. A very long time before Steve Harvey progressed into being a daytime, have the comic fiddled with different sorts of shows, which were predominantly made out of sitcoms. Yet the Steve Harvey Show was one of his best ventures from the 1990s. Forward watchers had outright bangers of shows, highlighting dark ability ruling the wireless transmissions, with shows like the Wayans Brothers, the Parkers, and Martin Network TV bragged a plenty famous in culture, characterizing programming long ago, when another milestone TV program, and one that gets avoided with regards to the discussion, generally was the woes, the Steve Harvey Show, credited with aiding skyrocket the vocations of Steve Harvey and Cedric the Performer. The Steve Harvey Show was an unexpected, yet invaluable treasure sitcom that featured the clamoring fellowship between Steve Hay Pinnacle, a fictionalized variant of Harvey, and Cedric Jackie Robinson, an undeniable interjection of the entertainer. And the late baseball extraordinary the sitcom followed Greetings Pinnacle, a funk legend turned secondary school music educator exploring regular day-to-day existence at Booker T. Washington Secondary School while working close by closest companion Robinson. And however, the pair had faultless on-screen science as BFFs hygiene, and all many have pondered are the comedic team companions. All things considered, well deciding by what occurred on the arrangement of the show, they appear to have all the more a supervisor-representative relationship. And I'll explain to you why his changing area was constantly stuffed 'cause he would go up, you see, while Cedric assumed the part of Harvey's closest companion on the show that wasn't the main job Cedric was made to play. He was additionally cast to play his personality's grandmother on the show Grandmother, put in a job that necessary him to wear a dress, and basically become a pretty much female, now grandmother putting Lita, is a decent lady and Cedric is fortunate to have her. She likewise is the woman of this house. Now she has been over in reverse, attempting to satisfy you. And accept me when I say it came as a shock to many fans. One individual composed Come On Cedric address, truly they duped you. An excessive number of male jokesters have dressed as individuals for chuckles. And something appears to make individuals snicker, regardless of where they're from. Dark comics like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Jamie Foxx, Kenan Thompson, from Saturday Night Live, and Tyler Perry, have all made individuals giggle by professing to be ladies, despite the fact that media chenini and different characters played by dark male comics like Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy are famous. Certain individuals, both inside and outside the dark, innovative local area figure, they can be hazardous. They say these depictions of individuals of color in ladies' clothing can hurt how individuals see people of color. Like when I associate specs that perhaps ought not be associated. I don't know yet specific spots, like when I see that they put each person of color. And the films in the dress, eventually putting these subtleties together, truly makes you can't help thinking about why Steve would need to set Cedric in this position, particularly in light of the fact that the pair should be companions from way back. That is correct. Cedric and Harvey were apparently buddies way before the pilot of the Steve Harvey Show was delivered. Hello, man, we've been companions for a very long time, man. Gracious, wow, 30 years. That is enormous, man. That is insane, man. You realize how individuals express that about Maori. That is quite a while in Hollywood to be companions with individuals. Sin, the two comedic stars, truly came up in the business, along with Cedric in any event. Taking note of that, it was Harvey who managed the cost of him his huge break in the beginning phases of his vocation. Conversing with Television Land, in 2012, Cedric discussed gathering Harvey right off the bat in his vocation before the family fight was entertainingly non-Hollywood. In the meeting, Cedric introduced the story. I was in Dallas, stuck, had no cash, and Steve was doing a parody night. He then, at that point, discussed how Harvey's main event was bombarding right now, prompting the game show, allowing Cedric 5 minutes in front of an audience. I shook it. Cedric said with a grin, which prompted Harvey welcoming him more as the main event ceaselessly bombed. I never truly wished terrible on another comic. Yet consistently, I would put a hex on this fella, Cedric flippantly added. In the end, the two came up as a feature of the First Lords of Parody, which likewise highlighted D.L. High and the late incredible Bernie Mac. In 2020, Harvey and Cedric shared a contacting second on Family Quarrel. When the host put squeeze on Cedric to convey the right response, Bernie's watching, Harvey told a noticeably exasperated Cedric, who at last conveyed the right response. When the new century rolled over the world, at long last, got to observe Steve Harvey and Cedric the Performer in full structure, In 2000, the spiky coordinated movie, The First Lords of Satire, was delivered in venues to basic recognition in the movie fans, took the stand concerning any semblance of Harvey Cedric Harvey, and Bernie Mac for dark entertainers, generally giving their hilarious takes on subjects. For example, Race Relations, Dark Culture and Family. This portrays exactly the way that far back this pair have come at. Additionally, is by all accounts precisely why Feline Williams has decided to stand in opposition to Harvey projecting his companion in a dress. In addition to other things beyond Harvey, for Cedric's situation, Feline himself has likewise denounced dresses in the past, involving Kevin Hart as a source of perspective point. The comic has ridiculed humor